This is a 2019 Jeep Compass Trailhawk. I'm going to give you 10 things you need to know about this Jeep if you're considering purchasing one. A few gripes. Start it right now. If you're new here, for informative, opinionated reviews on car, trucks, and SUVs, check out my channel, Car Mike. Consider giving me a follow. Click the thumbs up for me. Appreciate it. Let's get to the list. So number 10 is the UConnect System. That's owned by Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram. All those products have the same system in it. And I think it's one of the best on the market. I've driven a lot of different cars in the last 2 years. And I feel like this is one of the easiest to navigate. It's easy to understand and it's very intuitive. So you automatically just know where to go. It's very phone-like, very much like a smartphone. It has Apple CarPlay. It also is very easy to navigate through your climate control, media, radio, settings. It's all very easy to operate. Number 10, the UConnect system is in this Jeep. It's got a nice screen. Okay, number 9 is the appearance package. So the Trailhawk comes with, hopefully you can see this Trailhawk right here. You've also got the red stitching throughout, the red accents, even the red accents extend to the outside, the rear tow hook, things like that. It also comes with an anti-glare hood. So if you're near, water or high sun where there's a lot of glare, I don't necessarily think the hood is a functional feature, but it does look cool. And you also get the black roof, which comes with several trim levels on the Compass. Just gives it a sporty off-road kind of fun vehicle look. So number 8 is this looks like a baby Grand Cherokee. Now, unfortunately, Jeep's naming convention, what they call the Cherokee, does not look like a baby Grand Cherokee. Instead, the Compass does. I think that lends itself to a little bit of confusion about the different models. The Cherokee and the Compass are really similar sized. Their packages are a little bit different, or maybe a lot different depending on you as a buyer. But in general, they're the same size or awfully close in the compact SUV market. If you're looking for a sporty off-road, which you are if you're buying a Jeep. So this, I think, is the superior looking between the Compass and the Cherokee. I would pick the Jeep Compass because it looks better, which really means it looks like a baby Grand Cherokee. So number 7 is these sport bucket seats. They're really comfortable. They've got the red stitching, which I mentioned, but while they're leather trim, they also have this sport cloth, which is kind of in a high sweat, high cool area. It's often where the seats are coldest or warmest depending on what time of year it is. And so the sport seats really lend itself to being a little cooler when it's hot versus if they were all leather, and a little bit warmer when it's cold. Also another thing with leather seats. So while it may not be all leather, I think it's a benefit. I like these seats. I think they're comfortable, and I like the little cloth inlay. Okay, number 6, this thing has a lot of room for being such a little guy. The back seats, you got plenty of room to sit. The rear storage area, while it's not the biggest trunk for an SUV, it's definitely got a lot of room. You can put your stuff, you can put the seats down, which I'll show you in a minute. But really up front, I feel like the seats, while this is small, they've kind of pushed them together. They made the center console smaller. It makes you feel roomy. So it definitely has a lot of room for such a little guy. Okay, number 5, and remember, this is things you need to know. I'm gonna tell you, I think the ergonomics in this car are not what they should be. Several of the Chrysler products I've driven recently, in particular the new Jeep and the new Ram, which you can check out my reviews on those, have much better designed interior. I'm almost 6'2" and I can't barely reach this lower console area. It feels like it's too far away. They could have raised it up, put some storage underneath, something like that. It just doesn't feel like things are reachable or where they naturally would be. And I think that's, you know, whatever reasons are, I don't know the design theme of this, if this was a Fiat product or designed a little bit by them. I'm just not really impressed with the ergonomics, especially when compared to the Ram and the Jeep Wrangler. Okay, number 4 is the price. This Jeep, as outfitted, I found available for about $35,000. So new 2019 is $35,000. What can you get for $35,000 instead of this? I feel like you can get a lot. In fact, I would argue you could probably get a discounted 2018 Grand Cherokee 4x4 for about that much. And maybe it's 1,000 or 2,000 more, but I found several for 37, 38, trimmed out really nicely. And I've seen some as low as 30 if you're, you know, buying at the right time in terms of the discounts that they have. So while something like a Toyota RAV4 has their new adventure package, which looks really similar to this Trailhawk, also costs about $35,000. The difference is that RAV4 is going to hold on to its value a lot longer than this particular Jeep, which just doesn't hold its value like its counterpart, the Wrangler or the Grand Cherokee. So at $35,000, I'm not telling you to buy a different vehicle, but I would definitely consider something like the Grand Cherokee and finding yourself a good deal. You may have to hunt a little more, but I think it's worth it. Okay, on the list, number 3, I wanted to show you this, but this Jeep has an excellent backup camera. Got a good wide view. I think the backup camera is quality. So Jeep did a good job by putting a good camera in a big screen. Number 3 is the backup camera is excellent. Okay, for number 2, I'm gonna take it for a quick test drive. Buckle up. So I wanted to talk to you about the powertrain. I've said this before, but I would describe the power weak sauce. It's just not there when you need it. It's high revving, and you really don't get much power even when it's revved all the way up. Here we go. We're going. A lot of noise. Not moving real fast. You know, I would say it would be forgivable if you were pulling out 35, 40 miles per gallon. This gets 32 and 23 in the city, 32 on the highway. That's just not good enough to me to justify how weak this engine feels. Maybe the buyers of this, and maybe you who are watching this video, don't care that it's not a powerful engine, but I would say it's not as powerful as it should be. It doesn't need to be some 300 horsepower V6, but it just doesn't feel very strong, and it doesn't pull the car real well. And I don't know that 32 miles per gallon, you know, well, that's pretty good for a small SUV. I feel like they could do better. All right, and then the number one thing you need to know about this Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk Edition is it is an absolute beast for a small SUV in terms of its off-road capability. Now, this Jeep is trail rated. The overarching theme for this Trailhawk is that it's actually capable. You've got a good ground clearance, you've got good approach angles, it can actually handle itself in water, in mud, up to a certain height, and you know, it's easy to switch on and off. This is an adventure vehicle. This is made for somebody who wants to go camping, wants to take their bikes to, you know, a trail somewhere where they need an off-road vehicle. That's what it's for. And so if that's you, I would encourage you to take a look at this Jeep. It's fun, it looks sharp, and it's definitely capable. You know, the drawbacks with the power, well, if you're just highway cruising and you don't care, maybe that's not a big issue for you. But overall, number one is definitely the off-road capability of this Jeep. Okay, I'm gonna give you 3 gripes as usual. The first one is the seating position. I just couldn't get this thing set up right. What I think I wanted was the seat to go up, but then my head would start to approach the top simply because it's too low for me to get my feet. I feel like my knees are higher than my hips. And then if I scooted it forward, then I'm too close, I scoot it back. It just seemed difficult to get in the just right position. If you were looking at this, I would definitely make sure you can get the seat right so that it's comfortable for you. The second gripe is the ergonomics. I already mentioned that, but in particular, the AC controls, they're also so low and facing straight out. It seemed like if they just tilted them a couple degrees towards you, they'd be easier to see without having to kind of go down here to look at them. Just not impressed with the ergonomics. And number 3, I already mentioned it, but I'm gonna go on record and say the engine in this Jeep sucks. It's just not a good engine. It might be the best that Chrysler's got to put in here right now. It's affordable, cheap, whatever the case is. They've got to have a better power plant available. This engine is just not capable to me compared to other SUVs I've driven that have similar miles per gallon available out of those engines. Jeep, you gotta do better than that. For opinionated car, truck, and SUV reviews, check out my channel, Car Mike. I got new reviews every week. Thanks for watching.